Heartwarming Evil by tortfeasor. Final chapter. What was, what is, and what will be. Their trip back to Ponyville was long and arduous despite their victory. The goings-on in the pony world meant nothing to the denizens of the Everfree Forest, who regarded all interlopers as simply food dropped on their doorstep. Nor did victory do anything to heal Fluttershy. By the time they made it out of the mountains, they were grimly certain she would lose her wings when they got to Ponyville. As they went through the Everfree Forest, they began to wonder if Fluttershy would make it to Ponyville alive. Sombra's attack had caused trauma enough. Now Fluttershy had to endure her wings slowly beginning to die without being able to lose them. By the time Rainbow Dash could see the edge of Everfree Forest from above the trees, Fluttershy was starting to go delirious from pain, and likely from infection of her dead wings. Without training or tools, however, all the others could do was have Twilight and Rarity cast simple healing spells and a lot of pain-numbing charms. By the time they reached Ponyville itself, Applejack and Pinkie Pie were taking turns carrying an unconscious Fluttershy. They all expected to have forcibly wave off a deluge of celebrations at their return, but they arrived to a subdued Ponyville, still very much licking its own wounds of war. They made their way to the distressingly crowded hospital, and waited several achingly long hours while the doctors worked on Fluttershy. At long last, one of the doctors came to them. It had been a close thing, but Fluttershy would live. Like they had all known, though, her wings were a lost cause. Only then did it truly start to sink in that despite the price they paid, they really won. Fluttershy spent more than a month recovering from the loss of her wings and resulting infection. In that time, civil war that Sombra started to play itself out. Without a leader, his forces turned on each other as much as they had fought their enemies. And as word trickled out that Sombra was dead, while Rarity very much alive, those ponies still on the fence fell entirely on Rarity's side. Ponyville gradually rebuilt itself as well. It took months, well into what should have been winter, but summer and autumn lasted, and the scars of the town faded. The old library, tomb of so many, was rebuilt with the aid of all three tribes. Lyra and Bonbon, proud owners of their own cafe and theater, ended up having no trouble finding actors for all ponies. In addition to Lyra's own musical talents, Octavia decided to put on regular performances, both as a favor for her friends and as a show of gratitude for the magnificent cello Lyra had indeed built her. Files Gratis' music kept ponies partying well into the night, even if Lyra and Octavia never particularly enjoyed it. And Trixie, the unicorn they saved during the Sunset Silver's attack, okay, Trixie is a little bit miffed. What is it? Trixie only has a named role in this picture. She only barely shows up. Doesn't even have a single line of dialogue. Trixie demands payment. Trixie demands... Trixie. Boss. January, you're going to have a whole bunch of scenes to yourself. Really? Oh yeah, it's going to be a blast. Okay, Trixie rescinds her argument. Decided to make her Ponyville her new home as thanks to her saviors. She would never admit just how much the destruction of her wagon had to do with that decision. The doctor did indeed show them the large blue box in his basement. Afterwards, they would occasionally disappear for an hour or two, yet they always returned festooned with strange and exotic souvenirs. For some reason, Lyra never failed to grumble about her lack of success in discovering strange creatures called humans upon returning from one of those expeditions. Derpy, the town mailmare, continued on in her role. Reminded of a certain slight once more, she again misplaced the mail of a certain pony who had committed unspeakable acts to an innocent blueberry muffin. Upon returning to Platinum City, the first act of the new queen was indeed to rename the country Equestria, and to grant the Earth ponies all the rights that had been denied them so long. Scarce few Earth ponies were left in Platinum City, however, to take advantage of their new queen's benevolence. The destruction of Earth ponies had been Sombra's priority, and his lieutenants had continued to massacre even after his death. Indeed, right up until the Loyalist forces forced their way through the gates, the Earth ponies had been marched to their deaths. The extermination was not so complete in those extended areas that had been loyal to Sombra, but their populations of Earth ponies had likewise plummeted. The survivors could only guess at how many of their fellows had been murdered, but all agreed it probably would be easier to count the living than the dead. To give the new era of harmony between the three tribes a physical representation, it was ordered that the ancient castle of the Royal Pony Sisters be refurbished and completed. With all three tribes working together towards a common goal, progress was better than it dared had hoped for. Its silhouette rose between Putnam City and Ponyville with remarkable speed, a monument to what so many had fought and died for. All, however, was not well within Equestria. The treacherous Sunset Simmer, who had escaped following her failed attack on Ponyville, used plans he had drawn up to overthrow King Sabra, to instead foully murder Rarity in hopes of renewing the war and making herself queen. It was not to be. The revelations of Sabra's atrocities had sickened nearly all the unicorns and Pegasi in whose names they had been done. No more than a few escaped diehards rose with her. And before long, Sunset Simmer died, screaming defiance and hatred to the very end, on Rainbow Dash's sword. The funeral was magnificent, as befit a princess beloved by her subjects, before ascending to the same status only martyrdom could grant. Ponies from all across Equestria flocked to Platinum City to pass their last respects to the princess, who had truly given all that they so might be free. The ornate casket, Rarity would have refused to depart the world in anything less stylus, was displayed in the great courtyard of the royal palace. "You freaking bastard! You killed Rarity! I'll kill you! I'll kill you for this!" The mourners, however, filled the streets down to the hollowed-out remains of what had been Dartville. On the platform with their deceased friend were the other 5 ponies who had worked together to save Equestria. Each a hero in their own right. It was all they could do, from breaking down in tears to what they had suffered after their battles should have been over. The 5 surviving heroes each gave a speech of how the departed princess had impacted them, and together they recollected their adventures in saving ponykind. As they reached the climax, all the onlookers were amazed. As the moon moved in front of the sun in a glorious eclipse, the pony standing in a plaza, it was a piece of theater unmatched in the history of New Unicornia or Equestria. The ponies on the platform were organized the funeral, and to the unicorns who moved the sun and moon, it was a terribly alarming event. Each and every pony in Platinum City, however, was awestruck as 2 bright points of light began to descend from the covered disk of the sun. "Celestia, Luna, princesses, it's good to see you finally making a appearance in this fic." "It's good to see you too. Now, martial art fruits user, do you not have a review you should be doing?" "Yes, we'll tidy up the rest of the fic. You go do your job." "Right, your majesties." I know what you're thinking. Isn't it kind of odd to be reading a story that was filled with blood, death, murder, political intrigue on Christmas? Well, for one thing, this was based on the roots of the heartwarming story. That was one. 2, I recently found out that back in the olden days, we used to sit around the fire and tell each other ghost stories. Number 3, the story was all about looking past our differences, doing right by your fellow man, giving all you have. There was a whole bunch of Christmas themes in here. And lastly, number 4, my show, my rules. I decide what I get to read for Heartwarming. So, neener. As for the fic itself, this was fun. I got a few complaints, though, before I get to the good. First off, there's a part of me that feels like Sabra's attack came too sudden. I mean, there was a few chapters of build-up, Sabra talking about how he was making his plans and how he was building up, and then, BOOM! We're right over there, back looking at Sabra going, boo ha 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 ha, I'm evil, I've already killed everybody. I would think that Sabra should have waited just a little bit longer, or there should have been a little more time between realization of the coup before the coup actually happened. I do feel like it would have been better if that had happened, and it could have made a more impact on the story. As it is now, it just felt like it was a sudden stop, and 5 seconds later, boom! Attack. It's kind of jarring and jostling, in my opinion, and it does kind of upset the mood. Speaking of Sombra, I do wish there was kind of more explanations for his obvious immortality and background. We're told by the author that he had his battle with Celestia and Luna, and the Crystal Empire apparently happened. But how did Celestia and Luna get caught up in the Sun and Moon? How did Sabra get imprisoned and suddenly show up so that way he can infiltrate the war, infiltrate them? Was he truly a loony? I can understand why his breakdown happened here. Apparently, the massive feedback was too much and it wrecked his little bitty mind. But I kind of do wish we could have seen more with Sabra so we could understand his character more. So we could get a little more of background of who he was and maybe even had a few scenes before he decided to go Coco for Coco Plus. As it was, all we had was everybody's words to go by. We didn't really get to see anything. Speaking of saying something, I kind of also wish we did get to see more of the CMC becoming friends. For one, I think that would have been cuter, and two, would have really, really helped solidify the story's overall message of togetherness, of this is the way things are supposed to be, and looking beyond each other's differences. Another small complaint: if you are going to have the freaking doctor show up in your fic, then he better be doing something awesome as the doctor. If not, then just give him something random and weird to do that makes us think he might be the doctor. As it stands, I hear he's showing up in the blue box and he is actually the doctor. Now I'm stuck trying to figure out, okay, knowing the doctor like I do, why wasn't he busy investigating those Wendigos, getting into the TARDIS and going, alright, do you know who I am? I'm the doctor. And I'm sure that a millennia-old being such as yourself ought to have heard the rumors of the coming storm, of the man who destroyed his own race, of the man who stops planets, of the man who stops suns from exploding. If not, then allow me to introduce myself. I'm the doctor. Hello. You're finished. This gave me a larger explanation, and as it stands, it feels like it's the doctor, just for the doctor. And I may have been joking a little, but if you're going to have Trixie show up, give her a few lines of dialogue. It kind of makes her happy. And she gives me a bonus whenever I do her lines correctly. Trixie heard that! Also, I feel like Octavia and Vinyl does shut up because Octavia and Vinyl. It would have really also helped solidify the point because I noticed we kept seeing to have some pairs here. We kept having Unicorn and Earth Pony, Unicorn and Earth Pony. This does make me wonder if we could have also had a good scene of, say, a Pegasus and an Earth Pony to continue showing the bonds of the ponies building up together. Hey, maybe have Thunderlane, get together with, say, what's Earth Pony Phileas? Maybe show a scene of Thunderlane nuzzling Carolee. Or showing a scene of one of the other Pegasi cuddling up with an Earth Pony. That also brings another point. Sometimes certain characters, though I did like the fact that we got to see their new roles, I felt like certain characters were there just because they were background characters in the show, And that was all that the author wanted to do, so that way the author could broadcast us here. And I also feel like some of the story bits went by too fast. Oh, we're doing a New Unicornia. Oh, we're in Ponyville. Yay! It kind of was jostling to me, and it kind of hit me hard. However, those are my only complaints. The rest of it's great, though. I love seeing where each of the main six have found themselves in this new world. Oh, that's another complaint I need to add. You killed off Rarity. You ticked me off. Now you must die. That's probably the third grievous sin you could pull off in a fanfic with me. Number 2 is killing off Piggy Pie. Number 1's greatest sin, killing Trixie. Oh, Trixie loves you too. But anyway, I love how the characters all found places that were different than what their normal lives were, yet made sense. Rainbow Dash is in a spot where she could care for and help Fluttershy. Fluttershy, being a Pegasus guard, while it may seem a little out there for her normally, you have to remember that all Pegasi were seen as, the warriors, the guards at this point. So, basically, Fluttershy was corralled into something she didn't want to do. And it didn't look like unicorns gave Pegasi much of a choice. They either were badass soldiers, or you weren't even a Pegasus. Which sadly does happen. Dash being a guard and being there for Fluttershy also made sense, and also gave me plenty of Fluttershy moments. Yay! We so love Fluttershy moments. Twilight, of course, being, the maid's assistant to Princess Rarity. Rarity being, well, princess! It does kind of fit her so well. And Applejack and Pinkie Pie being on the lower ground. What I also find interesting, and other people might find it as a complaint to have, that these girls are still themselves. I still love the fact that they are themselves. And they did find each other, and that they did bond. Once again, bringing point to what I said before, what I always keep talking about when it comes to multi-universe theory. Somehow, in some way, even though the relationships might not always be the same, but friends bonded together in one universe will find themselves bonding and connecting in some other universe. You stole that from Twilight's book! What can I say? Your theories on universal magics by Princess Twilight Sparkle is a fascinating read. Good golly, I always love it when Twilight publishes her own books. I also love how the harmony tests came in, and essentially the elements of harmony were working in. Which makes me wonder if it really was Sombra throwing those tests, or if it wasn't just the main set, or if it wasn't Celestia and Luna giving them. Because, oh look, the spell they used wasn't exactly Clover's, now was it? Oh no, it was a freaking rainbow of light. And so the heroes save the day, and I also do like seeing Ponyville and its difference from New Unicornia. Speaking of which, people know I've read some Mike and stuff. I just felt it kind of weird that these unicorns were all talking about being superior to Earth ponies by fact. This is exactly what Mike had said. So totally did not mean that. But back to Ponyville. I love seeing the structure, and I love seeing the difference between Nair and New Unicornia. Kind of wish we all saw a huge, gigantic, more, equality and unity, but it wasn't very good. I also liked as least seeing Twilight do a whole bunch of research, and Clover the Clever and Princess Platinum actually showing their own sides of each other and showing off that yes, we find this to be wrong, we want to fix it. We want to fix the mistakes of our past. Overall, a fun and entertaining story. Except, and a perfect good example of what to do when you need to put in a good heartwarming idea. Next time, we're presenting on several different one-shots. Two of them centering around one of my favorite sister teams, and two of them centering around a subject you know I love. Yep, it's another Flare Dash. Look, you guys gotta realize by the time you subscribe to this channel that some of the shipping stories are going to be Flare Dash centric. A lot. Hit it. Come on, let me see her. She's hurt. I need to see her. I need to be with her. I want to be with her. Next time, rainbows and flutterflies.